All right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to ABC Live. ABC Live coming to you from the great state of Texas, precisely here in Houston. Okay, I want to believe all of you had an exciting weekend out there from Ground Zero to the diaspora, where in Ground Zero, La République du Cameroon attempted a fraudulent election in our territory. I come to you today very, very excited with the lockdown and the efforts that Ambazonians, Ground Zero, put together to send a message to the international community that Ambazonia no longer takes instructions from La République du Cameroun. It is an exciting day to be alive and to be in this struggle. Please, as I join you tonight, I would like all of you, right here on the social media, Facebook I am talking about. Please, I'd like you to go ahead and quickly hit your share button. We're going to be having an exciting, a very, very exciting broadcast today. So please, I know I've been a little bit longer in coming, but please, I would like you to go ahead. We need to saturate this social media platform, Facebook in particular. So please, if you have joined, let us all take 5 minutes and bring at least 700 people on this platform in the next 5 minutes. Tell everybody the anchor man is alive, not live, but is alive. And I want you to know, I bring very, very exciting information to you today. I bring very, very exciting information to you today. You all have been hearing about some 256 French Cameroon military deserting them. It's a lie. I bring you some breaking information about that news, and I believe you want to hear it. But please, you go ahead and hit your share button while I get right back to you. All right, once more, thank you for joining me today here on ABC, coming to you again from the great state of Texas, precisely in Houston. It is always a privilege coming to you every day, every week, to bring you updates on the struggle for our independence, Ambazonian independence. I bring you again very, very exciting information today. Today, I'm going to be talking about the success of the lockdowns, ladies and gentlemen, the success of the lockdowns. And I'm going to also be talking about, of course, the elections, the manipulations, the briberies, and the military beef up. Even the newspapers in La République du Cameroun are telling us it was all a military affair. And of course, the biggest loser in this election in Ambazonia, I think, is so-called Fonshem Mbinglo. We're going to be talking about that. Fonshem Mbinglo of Banso, the fund of Banso. Again, I got some breaking news for you here about the so-called French Cameroon military soldiers deserting their ranks. I'm going to be talking about that. And also, there is a concerted campaign. Listen to me. If you are in the northern zone, I believe this one is also happening in the southern zone. There are concerted campaigns in both zones. Grassland zone, which are called the northern zone, and the mountain zone. There are concerted efforts here to put money in the hands of in the pockets of Ambazonians in the name of compensation. In the name of compensation. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm going to be talking about that, but wait until you hear the amount of money that are being dished out to Bamilekis and to Ambazonians in that so-called compensation scheme. I'm going to be getting there. There is a question here. Is this struggle really an internal affair, an internal conflict, or an internal crisis, as many people out there, deniers, like to call it? We're going to answer the question today. I am joined today with a very, very powerful panel, ladies and gentlemen. I will be joined in a short while with a powerful panel of the Oracle himself, Indy Manjong, joining me all the way from Massachusetts. And I have also with me Barrister Ghana, who is joining me, a guest from, is it Wisconsin? I believe so. And of course, the one and only Barrister Fru Isaac John, joining me from the liberal state of Maryland. Thank you for staying. It's great seeing you all, but I'll get back to you. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is a great day. It is a great day to be alive, and why I ask you guys to go ahead and hit your share button. I want to see these figures jumping on the screen. Ladies and gentlemen, I need to see the numbers jumping. I need to see the numbers on Facebook jumping. So please go ahead, hit your share button. For those of you just joining, hit your share button. Yes, I can see them, I think, jumping now. Hit your share button. You have to give me at least 700 people to start coming to you with this presentation. So please go ahead and quickly hit your share button. Those of you who are joining, I got exciting, very, very exciting news for you. So please quicken the saturation of the platform while I come to you. Again, I'm coming to you with very, very important analysis, very important analysis of the events of the weekend, the elections organized by La République du Cameroon, the lockdown that were instituted for all of Ground Zero, all of Ambazonia. If anybody had any doubt, ladies and gentlemen, anybody, even those in the international community, if anyone had any doubt that Ambazonia controls Ambazonia, once more we were able to demonstrate that over the weekend by totally locking down our territory and sending a message, a great message. Sending a message, and a great one in that matter, to La République du Cameroon and the international community, that we control our territory. Ladies and gentlemen, these numbers are not rising to my liking. I don't know what is going on, but I don't see the numbers rising at all. They are just stagnant. All right. So please hit your share button. I appreciate it. I appreciate you doing so. I appreciate you doing that. You hit your share button. Send the link to all the social media platforms, to Instagram, to Twitter, to your Facebook groups, and of course, all the WhatsApp groups. Send the links there. Let them join the presentation. All right, I see the numbers are jumping a little bit now. Please, let's do so at least 700 before I come to you with the presentation proper. While you are doing so, I really like to remind all of you out there. I like to remind all of you out there, we are in December. We are in December, and this is the month of grace. the month of grace for all who drafted and have not yet redeemed the draft. Please, I'm appealing to you. We need firepower on the ground. It takes money to do so. So, if whatever county, whatever local government you belong to, please, I need you to redeem your draft. Now, let me address one issue here about this draft. Listen to me very, very carefully. I like to address one thing that I've been hearing a lot of late from so many people, both in the diaspora and on ground zero. Listen, it is very, very true. You may not be seeing an impact from the draft on ground zero yet. That is very, very true. But I can assure you, listen to me again attentively. I can assure you, ladies and gentlemen, you may not be seeing the impact for the draft on ground zero at the moment. But I can assure you, listen to me again carefully, I can assure you, you will see that impact. You will see that impact. The talk for pigeon say if you work out for road 4 for hole, then you do work out go journey 4 for hole, then you do want come back for that journey 4 for the same hole. You be the most dullest man, the most dullest man. Now you got to know we've walked through the journey of my trip to Boya, and we fell in a ditch while going through that journey. We are being very, very, very extra careful not to fall in the same ditch of my trip to Boya, where people got the money, people took the money and it vanished into private pockets. We are being very, very careful with this draft to make sure that the money does not get into private pockets again. Somebody was saying to me the other day, Secretary Chris, you know what? I mean, this is one of those who is in the inner circle. He said to me, Secretary Chris, you know what? Unlike with my trip to Boya, all these guys are very careful to touch the money right now without a plan, because they know they will have to give account for that money. And so they are making plans and carefully, very, very meticulously making those plans. And ladies and gentlemen, that money is being injected into ground zero, and it may take 1 month, it may take 2 months, but I can assure you, be very, very resilient and be very, very patient. You are going to see the manifestation of that money, the draft money, on ground zero. And again, I know what is in the making. I know what is in the pipeline. So do not take delay for absenteeism. Absolutely not. And I can see many people getting weary and getting fatigued in the absence of any major mayhem. I mean mayhem on ground zero. Please, again, hold your peace. It is better late than never. Again, or haphazardly done. It is better late than it being done in a haphazard manner. So you will see the manifestation of the draft money on ground zero. If you are a fighter on ground zero, hold your peace also, because you will be equipped. And unlike before, we do not just want to take money and push it into the hands of individuals and say, do what you can do. And then before we know it, the money is all gone without anything to show for it. It is coming. It is coming. So please, my appeal to all of you out there who have not yet redeemed your draft, that money is for your local government. It is for your county. Please redeem your draft. Again, December is the last month for the draft. So if you have not yet drafted, do so today. And if you are one of those saying, oh, what is happening with what they have collected? Again, hold your peace. Hold your peace. You will see the manifestation very, very soon. This is a promise to you. This is a promise to you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. I hope you will listen to me and honor your pledges, honor your drafts. All right. So please hit your share button, ladies and gentlemen. Over 500 is still slow. Normally by this time we should be clocking 1,000 people. So please, for those of you who have already joined the platform, hit your share button. We have an exciting, very, very exciting panel here today. That is that about the drafts and the redemption. Those of you who drafted for ABC, please remember also to redeem your draft for ABC. For ABC. And remember, if you have not yet downloaded the app, ABC app, please get to Play Store. Get to Google Play Store, download ABC app, and you can have ABC on the way, on the go, anywhere in the world where you have data, internet. You can watch ABC 24/7 anywhere you find yourself around the globe. That is the purpose for the app. ABC app, again, go to Google Play Store and download the app, ABC app, and enjoy. All right. Now, this is what happened in Ground Zero, ladies and gentlemen. The ghost towns. Now, what you see here, this is K-Town. This is K-Town. Just one of the days. Just one of the days. The streets were empty. The streets were empty from Mongo, except in Cambe. I won't include in Cambe this time because you find these photographs. You find this image that I'm going to show you. This image here. This actually took place in Nkambe. You can see the colonial governor in Bamenda and the colonial slave called, is it Ngala Jera, they call him. After their election, they went to the market square in Cambe, and they wanted, they want Ambazonian to believe, oh, you see how many people came out for the election? No, this was a market day. This was a market day, ladies and gentlemen. This wasn't their election. It was a market day. That is not a polling station. So do not be deceived. Do not be deceived by what you see there. It wasn't an election. It wasn't a polling station. It was a market. But that is one of the ghost towns here, precisely in Kumba. The streets were empty. I got so many of those footages back here. I cannot show you everything because of time. But also look at this one. I understand this is Bafanji in Ngo, Ketunjia. Bafanji in Ngo, Ketunjia County. Look at the market, empty during the weekend. Honoring Ambazonia's declared ghost town. Who say we don't own the land? Who says we don't control the land? Ambazonia owns the land, ladies and gentlemen. So that was Bafanji. That was Bafanji in the Ngo Ketunjia County. We also have this one coming from our guys, the restoration fighters, the Ambazonian restoration fighters in the Bali, taking absolute control of the situation out there. I guess this is Bamenda Bali or this is either Bamenda Bali or Bali Batibu Manfe Road, Bali Manfe Road. Look at our guys, courageous, brave, taking control and dictating the pace of events on that major road, ladies and gentlemen, talking about courage, talking about courage. That is courage. That is courage, ladies and gentlemen, from these brave young men defending Ambazonia and protecting the people of Ambazonia. Of course, it wasn't different in Bamenda. Look at Commercial Avenue. Look at Bamenda Commercial Avenue. It wasn't different there. It wasn't different there. Ladies and gentlemen, this was Bamenda over the weekend. Again, it was like this on Friday, on Saturday, on Sunday, and of course today, Monday, it was the same. That is Bamenda Commercial Avenue again. That is Bamenda Main Market, all shut down. By the end of the broadcast, I'm going to be opening the phone lines to hear what Bamenda people say and what Ambazonians say about the lockdown. But that was Bamenda. That was Bamenda. That was Bamenda for the lockdown. That was Bamenda for the lockdown. Again, I can show you more and more of these images, but time will not permit me to do so. Ladies and gentlemen, you have to hit your share button as you join. Again, I have an exciting panelist that is joining me here tonight. So hit your share button as you join, please. Hit your share button as you join. Now, their elections also took place supposedly yesterday. I have said the biggest loser in this election were the funds and the chiefs, so-called, of Ambazonia, who stepped out for 5,000 francs, as some of them said. Now listen to this one here, ladies and gentlemen. Listen to this guy. Listen to him.
What I'm saying here, one of the most painful situations that we have among chiefs here, there was even a strike for them not to vote. The message we have been hearing about our president, our national president, President Paul Biya, has given, making a largesse to the chiefs. What we know as a division, the electoral register for 80 chiefs to vote within the division, the money is 450,000. If you have to divide 450,000 by 80 chiefs, that should be just 5,000 francs CFA plus. Is that the money that people will be singing on radio, TV, all around, that we have been sent a largesse as chiefs to come and vote?
Is that the money? Is that the money that people should be shouting on television, on radio, that they were given to go and vote? That is the question that this so-called chief asks. Ladies and gentlemen, but in the first place, why would the chiefs, why would anybody in that matter be given money to go out and vote? In the first place, why would they be given a dime? So the chiefs were given 5,000 francs to go out and vote. How about the general population? Those who were supposed to vote, the other councillors who were supposed to vote. It was a sham and a fraudulent event. That's why we call it so. But the biggest loser, as I have said, in this whole thing is this man here, this guy here. This guy here, listen, ladies and gentlemen, look at that. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you are looking at Fon Shem Mbinglo. Fon Shem Mbinglo, so-called Fon of Insult. About 3 weeks ago, he was arrested by the Ambazonia Restoration Forces up in Ngouketunjia County, interrogated, and he denounced these same elections and claimed French Cameroon citizenship. And for that reason, Ambazonia Restoration Forces sent him back to Yaoundé. They banished him back to Yaoundé. And he promised never to show up, not until after this conflict must have been over. But he sneakily, Nicodemously entered Banso, guarded with military men from La République du Cameroon. We can look at this helicopter in which he came. He got to Banso. He sneaked there in this helicopter, voted, had no courage, fortitude to even pass a night in his own palace. He was again immediately uplifted back to Yaoundé after the election exercise. Now, the question is, can Banso people ever allow this man to return? Will they ever allow him to return to Banso after this desecration of the tradition of Banso people? Can they allow him to get back there? Will they allow him to get back there? And all the chiefs, the Fon Anguafos, the Tabe Tandus, the Fon of Fontem and the rest, who went out and they fired every warning to participate in this French Cameroon fraudulent election. The people are waiting for you. The people are waiting for you. And I'd like you to know one thing, ladies and gentlemen. These people are wasting their time. These people are wasting their time. I can assure them on behalf of this interim government, and I also speak on behalf of all Ambazonia restoration forces out there. I can assure all these enablers and cronies of La République du Cameroon, your houses of chiefs are not going to be in Yaoundé. Your houses of chiefs are not going to be in Douala. I learned they are going to be in Bamenda. They're going to be in Boya. Where in Bamenda? How you meet in Bamenda and how you meet in Boya, I am yet to understand how you plan to do so. Thank God you can vote 20 times. You can vote 100 times. You will not step foot and sit in Boya for one time. Neither will you sit in Bamenda for one time. It's a promise. It's a promise that we are giving you. La République du Cameroon put on this sham election to fool the international community that finally they are giving Anglophones as they call it, some devolution of power, some authority back to the people, back to the regions. But come to think about it, ladies and gentlemen, is it only in their so-called Anglophone regions that they created the House of Chiefs and so-called regional councils? No. Every other region in French Cameroon will also have a House of Chiefs and a regional house of so-called councillors. Why is this now coming about today? It is coming about because Ambazonians have paid for things like this with their blood. With their blood. Why do Ambazonians always have to die for French Cameroonians? Why do Ambazonians always have to be the ones to sacrifice for anything that looks good? I mean, looks good, not good, but looks good, happening to that damn country. This time, if we accept it, we're going to be fools. We're going to be really fools. We shed blood to have the University of Boya. We shed blood to have the GCE board. We've shed blood to have everything that presently obtains in Ambazonia. We cannot continue to shed blood for all of that damn country. We are shedding blood for Ambazonia, and when we shed blood for Ambazonia, we did not ask for the House of Chiefs. It is nonsense. It is vanity. We are shedding blood for a free and independent country called the Federal Republic of Ambazonia. And so they can create 10,000 houses of chiefs or 10,000 regional councils. It means nothing to us without a free Ambazonia. This is very, very important. Let's take this to heart, ladies and gentlemen. Let's take this to heart. Let them do all window dressing that they can without a free Ambazonia, I can assure them nothing will take our guns away from us. I said here last time, let's take note of this. Let's take note of this. The international community, at least in their little gift or contribution to this conflict, they have said Ambazonians need some power, authority of their own in their own zones. They want greater authority. I mean, I'm referring to the international community. It is not what we are asking for. It is not what we want. But at least what the international community, I hear them saying, they are saying Ambazonians want some authority of their own. As in maybe 1961, the federal status, that is what I hear the international community is saying, at least for now. We are not asking for that. Ambazonians are not dying for that, for some greater autonomy, no. But at least look at it. La République du Cameroon has blown her ears to every sound advice, and they think that they can window dress with some empty, powerless parliament in the regions and House of Chiefs in the region where the representatives are made up of CPDM cronies, and think that it will cajole all of us. It will cajole all of us to saying, oh, finally they are doing something. Never. That is not going to happen. So ladies and gentlemen, they can hold again many elections as they want. The House of Chiefs, the House of the regional councils or regional House of Representatives, it is not going to take away our guns from us. It is not going to make us to give up on this struggle, considering it a concession. They have not even started yet. They have not even started yet. This is very important, because even when the international community is advising them to give up on some power, they are not doing it. These their regional elections do not do anything, because as I have said before, at the end of these elections, ladies and gentlemen, you will still not have the power. Ground zero, listen to me. You will still not have the power to elect or choose your own governors. At the end of these so-called regional elections, you will still not have the power to choose or to elect your own mayors. Can you imagine that mayors, people are being picked up in Yaoundé to go to the BLM to stand for the office of mayor, to go to Mezam to stand for the office of mayor, to go to Ngoketunje to stand for the office of mayor. And some of these mayors, guess who they are? Guess where they come from? They are Francophones. So this thing means nothing. If you cannot choose or pick your own mayors, if you cannot choose or elect your own governors, if you cannot manage your own police departments, if you cannot manage your own schools, if you cannot initiate your own community development as a county, of what good? Of what good is a regional council, a regional House of Chiefs, when the leadership is appointed? Everything is still an appointment. You still have the colonial SDOs out there reigning authority over you. You practically still have no say in what they have done. Let's open our eyes. Let's shine our eyes. What we have seen in the last 1 week is a wide wash. It's a wide wash of so-called devolution of power. No power has changed hands. How many parties in their country, in their own country, ladies and gentlemen, how many political parties in their own country took part in that election? Of course, none. None. And yet they want you to believe. They want you to believe you finally got some representatives in Boya and Bamenda, right? Come on. And let's talk about those who tell us, who want us to believe that this conflict is an internal crisis. An internal crisis that for 4 years and counting, 4 years and counting, their parliament sitting in Yaoundé has not as much as held a hearing. Ladies and gentlemen, part of their so-called country is burning, literally burning. And they have not as much as held one hearing in their damn parliament and the Senate to know what is going on in part of their country. And they say this is an internal crisis. Come on. Ambazonians, this war hasn't started. As I told you a few minutes ago about a drive, listen to me. If you are still out there not yet drafted because you are hoping, because you are maybe wary that you are not seeing the effect of the draft on ground zero, listen to me very carefully. You will seal it. Again, this is a promise. You are going to see it. The draft is coming on ground zero. I said here last week that one key thing that we need to carry along in this struggle in order to attain success, in order to achieve success, is patience and endurance. I see all this propaganda all over the place, in some French Cameroon forums, in their televisions, in their newspapers. They say, oh, Amba is dead, Amba is gone, Amba is defeated. No, weariness and fatigue is not defeat. Do not be mistaken, please. Weariness, fatigue is not surrender. You will see the draft on ground zero. Ladies and gentlemen, again, I am joined here with a very, very powerful panel. I am going to bring you the rest of the commentary while the panelists come on. I'd like to welcome all of you here, ladies and gentlemen. Again, I am joined from my right, from my left to the right. The oracle himself, Comrade Indi Manjong, joining me from the liberal state of Massachusetts. And in the middle is Barrister Valentine Ghana, joining me from Wisconsin. And on the right, on the extreme right, is Barrister Fru John, again joining me from the state of Maryland. Gentlemen, it's a pleasure to have you here this wonderful, exciting day after the fraudulent elections in La République du Cameroon, and of course the lockdown that we witnessed over the weekend. Let me say this, I think Barrister Ghana certainly knows this. Some quarters have been asking, some quarters in the international community have been asking for some confidence, they call it confidence building measures, to prove that at least Ambazonia coalition team controls ground zero. If what happened over the weekend isn't proof enough that indeed the Ambazonia coalition team controls all of ground zero, I do not know then what exactly they expect. And Barrister Ghana, you have been in there in the midst of the debate. Tell me what you think about the elections, I mean about the lockdown as you saw it last weekend, please.
Thank you, Comrade Chris, for that very spirited introduction. Thank you to all the panelists, Comrade Ndimanjong and Barrister Frunsok, for being here. Like you said, there are certain quarters of the international community who have been asking for us to demonstrate through confidence-building measures that we actually control the ground in Ambazonia. I don't think, or we didn't think that was a fair request to begin with, but I think what happened this weekend goes a long way towards demonstrating to them that Ambazonians, the interim government, the Ambazonian coalition team, and that we do control the ground on ground zero. But if you go back to 2017, September 22nd, we already demonstrated then sufficiently and abundantly that we control the ground in ground zero. October 1st, 2017, and subsequent weeks and months after that. So the international community is in no doubt that we absolutely control the ground in ground zero.
But you will agree with me that apparently they are living in denial because this struggle didn't start today. It's been 4 years and running. We've had lockdowns upon lockdowns. We've had ghost towns for 4 years and counting. They got to know that somebody is dictating the pace of events on ground zero, isn't it?
Very true. In property law, you have to have title to be able to govern that property that you seek governance over it. French Cameroon and France do not and have never had title over Ambazonia. So the only way they can continue to demonstrate some or manifest some charade of governance is through lies, fabrications, and acts like the elections that they are holding. So yes, they are deceiving. They are not really deceiving themselves, but they are deceiving our people. They are deceiving the so-called regional councillors. They are deceiving the funds to put themselves in harm's way because they want their little bit of 33 pieces of silver. So La République and France, and La République is just an agent. France is playing a game because, again, you go back to the 1959 Accords that says France is supposed to control the socio-economic and political environment in Cameroon. Amazonia was not part of France. France can control all it wants about French Cameroon, but it is trying to organize, scheme all of these charades to act as if it has some grounds, it has some legitimacy to control Ambazonia. France has never had that legitimacy, and by proxy, La République has never had that legitimacy, and we are manifesting and demonstrating to them with our boots on the ground that they will never have that legitimacy to control Ambazonia.
Barrister John, you watch the events at the weekend. Let us again start with the lockdown. You look at your screen, you see the resilience and the bravery of the Ambazonia Restoration Forces. What else do we need to prove to some of these so-called international community people that Ambazonians, the Ambazonia coalition team, controls all of ground zero? Look at what you see there on your screen. What do we need to prove to them that we control ground zero by the search through?
Very motivated editorial that he just gave us. Let me answer your question. France has been in denial. I will not put it all on the back of all international community. France, since 1961, has been developing all kinds of tactics to assimilate us. Their agent, President Paul Biya, said it in France, that for more than 60 years, they have tried to assimilate these Anglophones and they have failed. From 2017, when they declared war on us until now, they do not control our territory anymore. They've lost it. The French know that they have lost it. Everybody knows that they have lost it. The international community in general knows that they have lost it. And look, this weekend is like other weekends, other periods that we have had lockdown, tells the international community once again that we control the land. We control the land. It is our land. It is the land of our birth. And nobody nobody, including France and La République du Cameroon, controls our land. Look, this election this weekend showed us that most of our traditional rulers are enablers. I will take my phone, the phone of Mancon. Did you know that, Chris, they sent an armored car, he picked him up on a Saturday night, took him to Bamenda station where he slept. The following morning he voted, and he voted along with the phone of Bali, and the Bamu, he has not returned to his palace. I think they must have taken off for Yaoundé. And I'm sending this message. The restoration forces are waiting for him. I'm sending this message that he should go and stay in Yaoundé. He has abdicated the throne in Mancon. I can tell him that that palace does not belong to the fund of Fund A and Guapo. It belongs to the Mancon people. And the Mancon people, he has defied the Mancon people by going to sleep outside in his own territory.
So are you telling me, Barrister John, that the fund of Mancon was actually flown in to Bamenda, as was the fund of Ensor? I thought he came from his palace.
No, they went to his palace with an armored car on Saturday night and picked him up and took him to Bamenda station to sleep there so that he can vote in the morning. And of course, when there were restoration forces went there at 5 a.m. to the palace, he was gone. And they are waiting for him. He is not returning to Mancon. He should go to Yaoundé and join his friends. He should go, he has abdicated. He should go to Yaoundé and join his friends. Look, any enabler, anybody whose name appears on that electoral list, and anybody whose name will appear that he has been voted, it's a legitimate target for the restoration, for the Ambazonia restoration forces.
We are going to come to that. We're going to come to that. We're going to come. We're going to hold on with that, Barrister John. We're going to get to that. Let me get to the oracle in the Manjong here. You also witnessed the events over the weekend, the lockdown and the elections. Again, I ask you the same question. I think you are the oldest one amongst us here. If Ambazonians do not control the land, who else controls Ambazonia?
Yeah, Chris, point of correction. I'm not the oldest here. As a barrister, so I knew him since from Cameroon Anglophone movement when we used to meet in Dr. Enon Chong's house in Douala.
Correct.
He knows.
Correct.
And then when I met him, I was a kid, and he was a man. So I'm not the oldest here. Forget about whatever you're seeing, the cornflower that whatever. Yeah. Then my junior brother, Barrister Ghana, well, we have met in the Bali Old Boys quarters, and he knows that I'm not that much an older brother than him. So yes, I accept the fact that I'm here. Actually, I'm here because I needed my opportunity to be able to speak to the funds, and I think this is that opportunity that I've been waiting for.
We will get to the funds. Tell us your take on the events of the weekend, the lockdown.
So having talked about my knowing and so my knowing Dr. Ghana and all of that, and my correcting the fact that I'm not the oldest on the panel, because I'll be talking very much to the funds. I've come ready for that. I should be able to kind of like give them their due until they totally reject that. I've given them their due.
You still give them that respect even after all of this?
Yeah. Well, because I haven't, ever since I've not had the opportunity to talk to them. So I have this opportunity to talk to them. So I give them that. And then it is up to them to make up for the 4 years and more that have passed. And if they don't, then okay, going forward, I would have given them that opportunity. Yeah, in the light of what happened over the weekend, we all saw it. Yeah, you said the aberration was in Kambi. Yeah, actually, it's not Donga Mantle, it's Kambi State. Ndu was not the same. Mwa was not the same. Ako was not the same. Mr. J was not the same. So it's a Kambi phenomenon, and by Kambi I mean Kambi town. I'm not talking of Kambi LGA. And my junior brother, Jiran Gala, knows what he is doing. I was even surprised to see in the clip, all women came out and they were saying Baba Ale to him. That's something they used to say to Frundi. Even Frundi's own mothers used to say Baba Ale to him. Yeah, but my junior brother, Gerald, wants to inherit that one. For example, he has also inherited the haircut of my father, S.N. Tampo. Yeah, he has also inherited his haircut. So good luck to that. But like I'm saying, I don't want to finish it. The English people have something about the stubborn fly. You know, I'm not going to finish it. He's my junior brother, so I won't finish that one. Everybody that knows about the stubborn fly, let's keep it at that. And then I just indicated to people what it used to mean before. If the governor had an assignment in Kambi, I say the governor, the people, the colonial authority called governor for Northwest, if they had an assignment in Kambi, they made sure that they drove by the difficult ring road in order to examine the territory that answers to them as governor. So if now going to Kambi means that they have to steal themselves there and steal themselves away from there, then something truly is happening and only fools don't recognize it. Then, like you said, we are going to come to the funds in all of this, and I reserve the balance of my time for that. Thank you.
Thank you. Barrister John, let me get back to you again. We're still talking about this election thing. A lot of public set out organizing this election to tell the international community finally they are devolving power to the regions. And I would like all of you to come in here. They are devolving power to the regions. Is that what this election actually serves the people? Do they have the power? That is a question that I guess this election is supposed to answer. But does it? Barrister John, I'll start with you.
Yes, these people are not serious, Chris. They don't even know what they are doing. I cannot understand that a whole country like the Republic of Cameroon cannot read its own laws. This is a country that from 1961 was made out of two states. Their constitution of the so-called federal constitution, which they took from their own parliament and adopted it to a federal constitution and ram it on us with a decree, says in its paragraph 1, the Federal Republic of Cameroon is made out of two states, the state of West Cameroon and the state of East Cameroon. How can they now, at this hour, after we have restored our independence in 2017, pretend to devolve power down to us? Which power are they talking about? These people are sick. They are either sick or they are all idiots. Because we have gone. They went first. In 1984, they went back to their country called La République du Cameroun and left us in limbo. And we have finally gone back to our state, the state of the Southern Cameroon, now called Ambazonia, the Federal Republic of Ambazonia. Why would they want to devolve power to us? Who are they? Like you are in a contract with two of you, and somebody and one member of the agreement. It says that okay, I will give you some power. What does that mean? Listen, Chris, this election is nothing. It's null and void. It has no bearing on the Federal Republic of Amazonia. And whatever they are trying to do, like you said in your opening statement, that so-called House of Chiefs, which they have created, 2 of them, to divide and rule us. In Southern Cameroon, there was only one House of Chiefs, which was like a Senate. And they won parliament, all in Boya. Now they have come and given one House of Chiefs in the Northern Zone, one in Boya. One regional house in the Northern Zone, one in Boya. What are they trying to do? You think that we are still part of them and they want to continue to divide and rule us? It will not happen. Let's see how they will establish those houses after this so-called sham. It is unconceivable that another country will go to another one and organize elections. It's like telling us that when Senegal and Gambia were together, before they walk their way, Senegal can go back and organize elections in Gambia.
Yeah.
Is that not? That is sickening. These people don't even know what they want.
Barrister, yeah, go on. Finish your point. Finish your point, Barrister John.
What are they decentralizing? They have given no power. You cannot elect anybody. They cannot elect any governor. For those of their 8 provinces, they don't have any power. All the decisions of those 2 houses will be opinions. They clearly stated in the law, in the decree, the decree that is explaining the 1996 constitution. You have only opinion. You cannot even take a law. You cannot even pass a simple ordinance. In those houses, your own is opinion. You give opinion, which may be taken or may not be taken. Their governor is still appointed by Yaoundé. Their mayors are still appointed by Yaoundé. But that does not concern us. We should not even dwell on that. We should increase our firepower, and I can concur with you, Chris, that firepower is already being prepared on the ground. But they will hear from us.
Thank you. Let me get to Barrister Ghana there on this same subject. You are, I guess, a constitutional attorney, and you know what devolution of power means. And what French Cameroon set out to do in these elections of yesterday, they said they were devolving powers to the regions. Is that exactly what we see in that arrangement, in those elections?
That is what they did was exactly a non-starter. And in constitutional law, you can only devolve power to regions within a country that you have jurisdiction, that you have that authority to devolve that power. But here, like Barrister John Fruit said, they don't have the authority to devolve that power. I think I stated an example here about 6 months ago that I want to repeat. Comrade Chris, I want to hand you $1 billion right now. I'm so happy with you that I want you to receive $1 billion from me.
Even you want to give me 100 billion, even after my share of my trip to Boya, you are too generous.
I'm generous. I'm excited. I want to give you $1 billion. There's only one problem with that. I don't have $1 billion to give you, so there's no way I can give it to you. La République cannot give us special status because they don't have the authority to give us any special status. As Barrister John said.
No, go on.
Both La République du Cameroun, or both French Cameroon and the Southern Cameroons, were 2 Class B trust territories under the League of Nations and under the United Nations. How can one Class B trust territory that got its independence from instruments under the United Nations turn around and say it wants to devolve power to another Class B trust territory. It's a non-starter. They don't have that authority, and the Southern Cameroons is not under their jurisdiction. As Barrister John Fu said, UN Resolution 1608 asked for the two parties to sit down in 1961 and work out the modalities of the union. It never happened. Instead, they did the charade of going to their parliament, taking their constitution, moderating it, and decreeing some charade that the Southern Cameroons was their territory that was being returned to them. So they flouted international law, and they have continued to flout international law since then. That is why people like Thibault Nagy are telling them that things like these elections, things like the recovery or reconstruction that they are talking about will not solve the problem. That is why the EU, Canada, Britain, Germany, and other respectable countries out there are telling La République du Cameroon, you have to sit down on the negotiation table and dialogue. So these elections that they are holding is a wholesale deceit that is not different from the charade of the referendum in 1972. That is not different from the charade of a union in 1961. We do not have any contract of a union with them. And even the Gaullist Frenchman who was assigned to annex the Southern Cameroons said in his own book that this is an annexation. So they don't have any right to devolve any power, because this is colonialism. We need to regain our sovereignty, and we reaffirm our independence on September 22nd, 2017. We are gone. Our forces on the ground are blazing through AK-47s to remind La République du Cameroon that their boundary ends at the Mongo. And that is why you see somebody like Lele Afrique walking around with a convoy of heavily armed soldiers to protect him. If they had that authority to devolve power, he would be walking around like a free man and not like a caged animal that is being protected by AK-47s. As you can see on the screen, he is not a free man in the territory that he says they are devolving power to. And to the chiefs and the kings who are taking their 33 pieces of silver to sell our people, I want to remind them of something. France, who is the principal in all of this, in the 1760s, there is something that happened to Louis XVI of France because he went against the people. Louis XVI was beheaded for France to be free. And the tree of liberty since then continues to be watered by the blood of tyrants. So if these chiefs and these funds and these notables want to associate themselves with tyrants in Yaoundé, then they are inviting a fate to befall them, which I trust you they might not like.
All right, I think that is well said, and you raise a question that I have raised all along. Does French Cameroon have any authority to dish out instructions to the Southern Cameroons as to what the Southern Cameroon should look like? Of course not. We were equal countries politically when the plebiscite took place. If anything, if they needed to do anything, both parties needed to sit down to say, this is what we want, this is what we want, not one party dishing out instructions or authority to another part of the country, and which is why, again, this so-called election is null and void for as far as Ambazonia is concerned. Let me get to Indi Manjong, who will, I'd like you, sir, to speak specifically about these so-called houses of chiefs in the northern zone and the southern zone. You are old enough to know exactly the constitution of the House of Chiefs in the southern Cameroon as existed then. Tell us what you smell, the difference that you see in these present so-called houses of chiefs, please.
Yeah, Thank you for the opportunity. What I smell is a rat. And the rat that I smell, I'm given to think that people like royalties, like the fun of Manco, should smell that rat that I'm smelling, because I've been through the archives, seem to discover that the fun of Manco saved in Buea, either as a member of the assembly, West Cameroon House of Assembly, or as a member of the West Cameroon House of Chiefs.
Mm-hmm.
And if the fun of Bali goes through, he doesn't need to go through, because when his father was fun of Bali, he was a grown-up, and he knows that his father went to Buea, to the House of Chiefs. The fun of Nsok now was not a kid when his father went to the House of Chiefs in Buea. So that was a House of Chiefs that combined what is present day Northwest and Southwest into one. So consequently, it was bigger, more powerful, more whatever. So why will anybody come today and brandish half of that to the fun of Mancon, and the fun of Mancon will think it's something great? It is beyond my imagination. It's beyond my imagination. But the reason I'm here much more is to observe to the funds something that they are either inadvertently or purposefully have been doing. There are things they have been doing either by omission or by commission. And they don't seem to see by how much it is chipping away from the mystique. I'm not talking about mistake. I say mystique. The one that ends in Q-U-E. That's the one I'm talking about. The mystique of their royalty. And I want to call attention to how when there is that chipping away at that mistake or mystique, what happens? The fund of Mancon is old enough, because when I was an elementary school child in Com, they brought the body of one Lieutenant Chiabi. He had gone to serve in Egypt, to do peacekeeping in Egypt, and he came back in a body bag. He is buried in front of the Baylor Baptist Church. As you are going up to that church, I remember very well, his grave is on the left. Probably is the only grave on that church land. And the fund of Mancon then was serving in Buea when this happened. And that peacekeeping came as a result of Colonel Abdel Nasser overthrowing the government of the Pharaoh of Egypt. Fonangwafa was around, and most of them were around when Muammar Gaddafi did overthrow the king of Libya, King Idris of Libya, as a result of the chipping away of the mystique around the royalty. The way around, when Colonel Mengistu Haile Mariam overthrew the government of Emperor royalty, Emperor Haile Selassie, as a result of the chipping away of the mystique around that imperial royalty. They were there when Idi Amin chipped away or took away the authority of the Kabaka of Uganda. The Kabaka of Uganda at independence was saving in Uganda like the Queen of England saves in England. But Idi Amin said, no more. He went away with it. Why? Because there had been a chipping away of the mystique that surrounded that royalty. And they are plentiful. And it surprises me that my dear friends, especially those in the Northwest that others have been looking up to, have taken their duties kind of lightly. I'm not talking about the House of Chief things, but I'm talking of the price they are paying for the House of Chief thing. Chiefs used to revere those white colonial authority. Look at it this way. When the colonial authorities came and then they said, oh, you know, the Southern Cameroons is going to be independent either by choosing to belong to the Federal Republic of Nigeria or belong to the Republic of Cameroon. The Fon of Bafut said, question. I object. Because the choice being made is like choosing between dying by fire and dying by drowning. It was prophetic. Yeah, well, the colonial authority went ahead and did. Nobody ever said, how dare you say that? As fun. Nobody did. Nobody did. He never became on the blacklist of the colonial authority. The fun of Saw that has just been mentioned here, times over. This man was born by the famous Fon Binglo, and he was a grown-up when Fon Binglo did a few things. When Fon Binglo went to Lagos, not in the Southern Cameroon, not in his own kingdom of Fonda, he went to Lagos, away from the Southern Cameroon, away from his son. The Queen of England stretched her hand to him. And then the Fon of Saw said, you know, in Saw, I don't shake hands with the greatest of my nobility. So I'm not going to do that here to some woman. Yeah, he probably, nobody explained to him that that woman that was talking to him was royalty like himself. But like I said, he did that, and then he came back to Saw and reigned for many years. So I don't know why his son now Fon. What is his problem? Who is he afraid of? Well, maybe let's forget about the Queen of England, white woman, big deal. He knows that when Ahidjo came to Saw, the Fon of Saw was supposed to go to Tobin like everybody and welcome Ahidjo and see Ahidjo. And then the Fon said, well, if it is in Saw where I'm in charge, then whoever is visiting has to come to my palace. This Fon knows that Ahidjo came to the palace and visited with his father by the request of his own father, by the father insisting that he is not going out there to visit with some visitor in his own kingdom or in his own Fonda. And Ahidjo came there. Ahidjo went back to Yaoundé. And then Ahidjo, of course, probably left before him, and then he did not become the special attention of Ahidjo by that simple act. So we ask, what is all of this that these Fons are doing now? What is their fear? These are the very people, we know what they are afraid of, because for a while they have been doing their own thing, and nobody has been calling them on it. Not Prime Minister Achidachu, not Nifrundi, not Governor Fayengo Francis, not Prime Minister Philemon Yang, and all down the line. Nobody has been calling them on the things that they have been doing that are out of place. They picked a commoner from Vokmeka and made him fawn of fawns.
Pine, let me stop you a little bit there, because I don't know whether it is very accurate to say that nobody has been calling on them there, because I think the outcry has been loud and clear from the overwhelming majority of Ambazonians. They keep on saying it is not the place of chiefs or traditional leaders to go mingling, seeking for power, coronation from political authorities, because that wasn't the case when we had our House of Chiefs in Boya. That has never been the order of political authorities to mingle and to appoint or to choose who becomes a chief. Ambazonians, I mean, not just Ambazonians, I think even people in all of French Cameroon agree that it is not the place of political authorities to appoint chiefs or to make chiefs, coronate chiefs.
Well, Chris, yeah, I think that's where I'm headed at. I just use the other royalties that disappeared from the surface of the earth, kind of like that, as a result of the chipping away of the mystique that surrounds their royalty. And I am saying these are people who are begging, whether knowingly or unknowingly, in terms of chipping away at this mystique that surrounds them as royalties. And then the other part to it, let us say that they are consciously doing whatever they are doing. Are they aware that as fawns, they are the custodians of their royal authority or their culture, which their royal authority is at? And as custodians, they are like father to their people. And with us, when it happens that the father at night is lying in the one house that everybody used to sleep in, father, mother, and children in all one house, no bedrooms, just everybody in one large sitting room with beds around. If at night there was some unusual movement on the outside, it was the responsibility of the father to step out there and find out what that noise was about. And he will give due instructions. If I go out there and I'm not back, when I go out, secure the door. When I don't come back, until I come back and I say, Amy, don't open the door. If whatever happens to me before it happens to you, then they must break the door to be able to do that. That was the responsibility of the father of all, which authority goes sent to the funds. For over 4 years, subjects have been slaughtered, and the funds say nothing. And if they are not doing it on purpose, I'm asking, how royal is it for the fund of coming from Laikom, passing through Bello, and stepping over the blood of the beheaded Samsoya? That is an abomination for the fund to do that, to come to Bamenda to claim some nonsense, whatever. Stepping over the blood of his subject. Well, I don't know about what happened in Santa or in Muyuka, let's take that, whatever. But I think that whether those things were done by the same people or by different people, it's as a result of what happened in Bello, when Bia's soldiers beheaded, to the view of everybody, Samsoya. And I am saying, there are really people out there in Com, because I hear they appointed some other people. They used to be only a phone of Com. And I hear there are all kinds of classes of chiefs. The Bonte of Bello is one of them, one of these, plus the phone of Com himself, who is probably, they say, first class, all of that. So I'm saying, so they are now coming and jumping over the blood of their own subjects. Traditionally, that's an abomination. And then these ones that have been sitting there are not caring. as to the slaughter of their own subjects, have not said anything about that slaughter. In a sense, they are committing an abomination, especially those in Maidonga Mountain, where women and children, old men and whatever, were massacred mercilessly in Garbu. So they are not going to go out there and claim some prize for that murder that was committed in Garbu. Really? Have they realized by how much they are already losing as a result of this omission in their own authority? Back in Maidonga Mountain, the phone of Cook, was brought to Nkambe in the full view of everybody and was ordered into a cell. The authority that were ordering him into that cell, there were other people that they already had in their custody. They didn't ask one of them to sweep that particular cell in which they were checking the phone. And then the phone went in there. There was feces by previous occupants of the cell on the floor. And he was made to live in that cell for days. Even the famous giraffe did not even stop by to visit the phone. Same for the phone of Binka. When he was coming back from Mr. J, they intercepted him in Kambe and ordered him into a cell and asked him to behave like people behave when they get into the cell. Take off your whatever, all of that type of stuff. And that was what we call the chipping away at the of royalty. And all these funds are kind of like, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Plus some of their subjects that they have elevated. Nobody is kind of like saying, well, I'm going to kind of like speak to this one. If the worst comes to me, I'm defending my authority and the culture of my people because I inherited it. I'm supposed to pass it over intact as I inherited it. So I am saying, well, if nobody has ever told them, I'm telling them today that they are committing a lot of abomination towards their responsibilities. And in committing those abominations towards their responsibilities and their royalties, they are chipping away at the mystique of their powers. I don't know if they are purposely doing it, like Paul Biya has been known to do it. Paul Biya became president from being prime minister. As soon as he became president, it looks like he didn't want any other person to ever become president from being prime minister, so he abolished the post of prime minister. In other words, he went up the ladder. When he was up, he didn't just push the ladder, he dragged the ladder up so that nobody should ever climb up using that ladder. It looks like the phone, it looks like that's what they're trying to do. But whatever they have, they cannot pass over to their successors. And if they don't want to pass over to their successors, I am saying that is something that maybe in their own lifetime or somewhere else they will sit and visit the people living and discover that this is what they did. And as I said, if Frundi has never told them, because he had the powers to walk into the front of Mancon's this thing to ask, Mbe, all this blood that is going like this, hey, are you watching? Chidiachu could walk in there and ask them that. Philemon Yang could walk in there and ask them that. Governor Francis Yengo could walk in there and ask them that. All of these other people could walk in there and ask them that. But it also seems that anybody, common criminals, all it takes is for somebody to make them, whether by name or by reality, they say this one is minister. And then they show up in the palace, even them there. We want to go and shake their hand. Common criminal. It never used to be like that. If a common criminal shows up in the palace, the phone is going to say, Where is this one coming from? When has he atoned for the
Right.
things that he has been known to do? But nobody is doing that now. So these are the abominations that the funds have been committing. It doesn't matter whether in my neck of the wood they have kids like Jira, assuring them. What is he assuring them? Frundi assured everybody a lot. Where is the thing that Frundi assured everybody? That you, Jira, will think that you are going to succeed where Frundi never did. So the funds are at liberty to keep daydreaming and doing the things they're doing against their people. Nobody is saying that they should be foiling the struggle or they should be out there in the struggle. But if they have to be out there in the struggle, what's the problem? They themselves can be out there. The fund of Insort knows that when the Insort people went to war with the Bamoons, the fund of Bamoon came out to fight himself. They never went back. The fund of Bamoon never went back.
All right,
Until Joe Sule, yesterday now. It was Joe Sule that negotiated for the fund of Bamoon yesterday, to go back to Bamoon. The fund of Insort knows that.
Right. The Oracle, I will get back to you on this very subject. It's a very touching subject, and lots of people are very, very upset with what they saw, particularly when it relates to this fund Shem. Some people say Shem, no longer Shem, but Shem in being law. Barrister John, this is the same fund who was caught up about 3 weeks ago. And there were calls to for the restoration fighters to finish with him, to send him closer to Patrick Ekema. But there were also calls going along the lines of, hey, spare him, warn him, banish him. I was among those who said, banish him, he should never appear again in Ambazonia, not just in Bansot, but in Ambazonia, and he was banished. But before he was banished, he promised never to take part in anything French Cameroon, talk less of the CPDM. It's not been 1 month, he came back, Nicodemusly, flown in through helicopter, cast his vote, and then flew back and to Yaoundé. It is very, very, I don't know how to put it, but it seems like a bluff, calling the bluff of Ambazonians by him coming back to participate in this election 3 weeks, only 3 weeks after he faced this encounter in the hands of Ambazonia Restoration Forces. Do you think that Ambazonians should be regretting that he was not sent home to be next to Patrick Ekema?
No, I wouldn't say that. But before I answer your question, Chris, I like to back up the oracle to say that these funds, what they are doing now, in the old days, the people would have kept them and get them missing. The oracle knows what I'm talking about. Now, to answer your question, Chris, every unit of our Ambazonia Restoration Forces has the Geneva Convention as a document, as a document to follow. When you capture somebody in the line of fire, that is at war, you can no longer do away with that person, as some people were calling. Our restoration forces respect the Geneva Convention.
But the question, though, let me stop you a little bit, Barrister John. I will get you back to your train of thought. But let me say this. Does La République du Cameroon have monopoly over violence, over killing of civilians and killing of innocent people? You observe, I'm sure you saw the video coming out of Le BLM only a day ago. They picked up 2 Ambazonia Restoration fighters, interrogated them, and then shot them at point blank to death. Why do we have to show so? Why should it be Ambazonians showing mercy to these criminals and genocidal soldiers in our territory and enablers, of course? Why should it be us? Who cares about international criminal court? What have they done to those who killed Gaddafi?
Oh yes, we care because we don't want to go to the ICC. All those people you have just mentioned are going to the ICC. Mr. Ghana would agree with me that about 93 of them are being prepared for the ICC. Having said that, Chris, we cannot do what La Republic is doing on our people. They interrogated them and gave them option to either succumb or they go back to La Republic du Cameroon, and they went back to La Republic du Cameroon. So, he was flown in by helicopter to come and vote. What does that tell you? Look, it is not the fault of our restoration forces. They were barely doing the job that we have taught them to do. Stay within the international rules, the international rules of engagement at war. I respect the Geneva Convention. And when you capture somebody, you cannot kill that person, but you can kill in the line of fire. Now that he has done that, none of them will show up back into Amazonia because they will face a line of fire.
So who is going to punish La République du Cameroon for the over 13,000 people they have captured and killed? Most of them not in the line of fire, because these civilians are not in the line of fire. They don't carry arms.
Listen, Chris, La République du Cameroon is violating international law. They are violating the law that was stated by the Rome Statute against crimes against humanity, war crimes, and genocide. And they will all be tried. You can believe me. They will all be tried. But
well, I hope they are tried. I hope they are tried. But personally, I do not see that coming. I think we should be bold enough to say it out there. Don't spare any enabler that you get into your hands. La République du Cameroon alone should not have monopoly over killings. I think we have been merciful enough to enable us.
Let me correct you. We will get the enablers in the line of fire, but we cannot capture an enabler and kill him. We will not do that because we're violating international law. I have to say this, and I say it clearly. And I'm saying it under the protection of Barrister Ghana, who is sitting right here. Well, all I'm saying is that our restoration forces are not involved in war crimes. They are not involved in genocide. They are not involved in crimes against humanity. La République is. And we cannot imitate La République du Cameroon. We have to stay within the rules of engagement and respect the international conventions. Now, having said that, any enabler who thinks that we will spare him should not walk the streets of Amazonia because he will be taken in the line of fire. That is different from capturing him instead of putting him as a prisoner of war. You slaughter him like they did in Libya. That is in violation. That is a war crime, and those soldiers who did that thing in Libya will pay heavily for it.
Well, I hope that. Go on. Finish your thought.
I am saying this so that La République should take note that we are not going to sit by and allow them to slaughter our people, violating international law, genocide, war crimes, and crimes against humanity. It will not continue. It will not be business as usual. But we cannot encourage our forces to act like La République du Cameroon forces. And
yes,
that's what I'm telling you, Chris.
I agree with you. I agree with you. I am just so concerned that if the so-called international community hasn't held La République du Cameroon accountable for all the killings and all the decimation and the razing down of towns and villages, I don't know when they're going to do it. Not even a single sanction. Not even a single sanction. God forbid, God forbid, God forbid this matter ends the way we have it now. I bet you a lot of political Cameroon will never answer to one person for the killings they have killed, for the people they have killed in all of Ambazonia.
There you are wrong. There you are wrong, Chris. Chris, you are wrong, because they will answer. They must answer.
I hope so. I really pray so. I really pray so.
The wheels of justice are very slow in coming, but they are surely there. They are surely going to come. It happened in Rwanda, and they are paying the price up to today. It will happen in the southern Cameroon. Please, Chris, bear with us. Bear with us. We are telling you that they will answer. La Republic will answer for all these war crimes, this genocide. Look at Ngabu. That was a complete genocide. Bali, Pinyin, and all the massacres that they have committed on our people. They will pay. They cannot go unpunished.
But when you say they will pay, Barrister John, the same international community that you are relying on. I know you are a lawyer. I know Ghana is a lawyer, but I kind of, you are going by the book, but I go by what I see. The same Ngaribu you are referring here, the same international community asked them to investigate themselves. Maybe I should pass it to Barrister Ghana. Please take it from there.
You may want to know that La Republic Cameroon admitted their crime in Gabu.
They did, but the same international community you believe will judge them, ask them to investigate their own guys who committed the crime. It's like asking a thief to judge a thief.
That is what diplomacy means to you, but that's not the law, Chris. They will be investigated by the International Criminal Court.
I have a problem when you mention the law. Because the law isn't working for the poor people.
Oh yes, it's going to work. It's going to work against La Republic of Cameroon, I can assure you. And I'm protected, I'm talking under the control of Barrister Ghana. He knows what I'm talking about.
All right, Barrister Ghana, over to you, sir. Give us your thought on this.
Correct. Secretary Chris, the arm of justice works slowly but surely. These guys might not be prosecuted now, but the International Criminal Court is being apprised of all that is happening. As Barrister John Fruit said, we already have at least 93 individuals within the hierarchy of the Cameroon government who are in command and control that the International Criminal Court is apprised of. And these people will not walk away free. Be guaranteed about that. The whole of the southern Cameroons is a crime scene. And that is why La République du Cameroon brings all of these bags of money. That's why they are trying to organize sham elections. That's why they are trying to bribe our chiefs, because they think that they can orchestrate and scheme the place to some degree of normalcy and hide their crimes. Their crimes will be investigated. We know the names of the generals. We know the names of the commanders. We know the names of the colonels. We know the names of the people in command and control. We know the names of the people in the political, intelligence, and military apparatus. All of these people will be held to book. The Liberian Civil War might have concluded in the early 2000s. Atrocities might have been committed in the 90s. But right now, there's a trial going on in Switzerland holding one of those thugs calling themselves leaders in that war who killed people and committed war crimes. So these people in Yaoundé, these people sending all of their mad dogs in the southern Cameroon committing crimes, might think that they will go away free. A thief or a criminal always thinks that they will get away with the activities on the crime scene. In this case, on the southern Cameroons, the book is very wide open, and they will be held accountable.
Barrister Ghana, this is my concern. This is my concern. Yes, you said it. The wheels of justice grind very, very slowly. But are we just going to wait and forget retribution, waiting for when this war is over after they have killed maybe 1 million? I mean, look at Rwanda. Are we going to say, let's not be vengeful, let's just wait and let this thing be over? Why they kill, and we are hoping that the International Criminal Court is going to take care of this. I think we should be brutal. I mean, absolutely brutal to any French Cameroonian captured, any of their soldiers captured, any of their targets captured, be it Ambazonian enablers. They should be dealt with point blank as they are treating our restoration fighters. I'm watching those images coming out of the BLM. You got those guys, you had the time to interview them, and then after you interview them, you shoot them at point blank and you kill them. They should not have the monopoly to do this. I don't care about International Criminal Court. Why should we want to be free without liberty?
Chris?
Yes, we should care about the International Criminal Court. Yes, we should care about the Geneva Convention. Yes, we should care about the Rome Statute, and particularly articles in the Rome Statute, Article 13, Article 15, that defines rules of conduct. Yes, even in criminal law, somebody who is being attacked, somebody that has an imminent apprehension of bodily harm and injury has the right to defend themselves with deadly force. As you rightly stated, Comrade Chris, the draft money is working its way down to ground zero. Our restoration fighters have the right to defend our territory with deadly force, including the killing of the forces of La République sent to commit mayhem on our people. In criminal law, once you have an imminent apprehension of bodily harm and injury being brought onto you, or bodily harm and injury being brought onto somebody that is in proximity to you, and all Southern Cameroonians are in proximity to our restoration forces, our restoration forces have the absolute right to use deadly force to neutralize forces from La République du Cameroon. I'm going to give you a legal scenario. If we have an armored truck driving from Bamenda through Bali to Batibo, and our restoration forces believe and have an imminent apprehension that those forces from La République are going to go commit mayhem, which they have been doing, which they have no reason to believe that any forces of La République on our territory are not going to commit mayhem, our restoration forces have the right to engage them, to neutralize them, to use deadly force on them. But what my learned comrade here was saying is that in international law, once you have captured the attacker, you do not have a right to then neutralize them because they are no longer a threat.
Well, you are speaking legal jargons there. Unfortunately, we live in the jungle. We live in the jungle where that law, I don't know whether it ever applies there, but let's move on. I give it to you guys, the legal minds. Let's hope that, I really pray and I really hope that that moment comes when La République du Cameroon and her perpetrators of this genocide are brought to justice. Now, let's talk about one thing about over the weekend we learned of 256 French Cameroon soldiers deserting their ranks over the years. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you, that is a fabrication. That was a fabrication. It is not true. It is not true. They are lies from their concoction house in Yaoundé. This is what we have learned from within the military ranks in La République du Cameroon. We have learned that there's so many, not just 256 soldiers deserting, but thousands of French Cameroon soldiers have been killed in the battlefields of Ambazonia. And when French Cameroon came out to say they deserted, no, they did not desert. What we have learned is that French Cameroon doesn't want the families of these fighters to know that they have been killed in the battlefields in Ambazonia. And so they are telling their families the fighters deserted. They ran away. And so they are nowhere to be found. We may have to cut their salaries. They did not desert. No French Cameroon soldier. They have not deserted, ladies and gentlemen. French Cameroon is trying to fool the family of those soldiers who have died, the thousands who have died in the battlefields in Ambazonia, and they are telling them they deserted. No, they did not. They were killed. And I think if you are a French Cameroon mother, father out there, and you have not heard from your son or daughter fighting in the bushes, in the BLM, in Ngoketunjia, in the Batibo, in all those areas, you have your son fighting for French Cameroon out there, and you have not heard from him. Make that phone call to their superiors in French Cameroon. Ask for them. Ask for where they are. They did not desert. They are killed. That is accountability that French Cameroon doesn't want to give to you. I will go back to the oracle to make a contribution on that. I'm sure you learn of this ploy by French Cameroon to cover up the death of these soldiers by saying, oh, they all deserted and they went abroad. What can you make of this, sir?
Well, it's not new. They have been known to do that all over. Even when Garbo happened, those they are presenting as being responsible. Yeah, those are not the only people that were responsible. Others that were responsible, they have done whatever. Even those that they are presenting as responsible, we don't know what they are going to do with it. So there are such dishonest people. There are such dishonest people, and they will lie about anything. They will lie about anything, even including defaming their own people that fought for them and died on the battlefield for them. So that the dishonest people we have always known since 1961. There's nothing new about it. They've always been doing that. Yeah, they've always been doing that. Even they did it to their own brothers, the ones that fought for their own independence. They did it to them. They did it to them and made up all kinds of stories on behalf of the French to cover things up about whatever. So yeah, the story as it is, very, very true, that they're just making things up because they don't want to count their own bodies, because they don't want the mothers again to show up as they did show up at one time to protest the body bags that were coming of their children that they sent to the battlefield, an unjust war, a war that again I go back to my phone, a war that I will again accuse my phone, because the phone of Mancon, they say he is the first vice president. He is not even the second. He's not even the third. He's the first vice president. So after Paul Biya is him, and he has never asked Paul Biya. So phone of phones. What is this one with my children? That they're just being slaughtered like this. Ordinarily, that's what a phone would do. Just no matter how I bless, you just ask that question to another mbe, like this big one that they make, phone of phones. So the phone should be able to ask the phone of phone, that big mbe, what is this one that's happening to my children? That they're just slaughtering them like cattle, like goats, like chicken. He has never So again, I come down to my own this thing that is going to work. So, Chris, don't worry. Don't worry yourself about this thing. Whether Geneva doesn't do its own, there are other courts of justice that are going to do their own. The local ones will do their own. I'm telling you, the local ones will do their own. When it is all said and done, somebody is going to ask, all that blood that was flowing around, how now are we going to take care of it? They will ask them. They're going to ask them. And they better have answers to give. They better have answers to give. And some of us, in our lifetime, we will see. We will see what will happen. Because I've told you that they are chipping away at the mystique that surrounds their royalty. And by so chipping, they are letting themselves tread bare, empty, like the king without clothes.
All right.
And that will be clear to everybody. So, whether Convention Geneva doesn't do its part, the one at home will do its part, especially in that minority. So, don't take it for whatever. It's going to happen. And then that other justice too goes kind of slowly, but surely.
Thank you. Thank you. Barrister John, you will recall that at the very onset of this war, I think early in 2017 or mid 2017, the Republic du Cameroon was actually counting her deaths and making public ceremony and sending them back to hell in public view. Since that very first official burial ceremony, they have never again carried out one before, in spite of the fact we all know that thousands of their soldiers have fallen in battlefields in Amazonia. Does it sound strange to you that now they are saying they are not dead, they only ran away?
You see, Chris, these are people who don't have records. They don't keep records. In ordinary war, people who die in their masses during war are buried in mass graves, and all the information is taken and put in a database and given to the government at home. That government now releases it to their families. La Republic has no such recording. La Republic has lost so many soldiers, and they are burying them in mass graves, or not burying them at all, abandoning the corpses wherever they can abandon them, and they are now lying to the families, saying that they have deserted. They are doing the same thing they do to our young people who are put in this their so-called GDR. They take them out in the middle of the night, go and kill them, and put out a communique that 130 of them have escaped. It's the same scenario. These people have no qualms. They are criminals. They are war criminals, and they'll be hunted down as war criminals. Because, you know, how can a young man who has opted to serve you as a soldier, he goes to the battlefront and he dies, and you don't have the courtesy to bring that information to his parents or to his family, to the wife and his children? It is callous. These are not people. La Republic are animals. I don't know whether these people ever learn any rules of engagement as far as war is concerned. I don't know where they are training their soldiers. I don't know where they are training their politicians. Look, the commanders themselves are to blame, because when you lost your troops, you have to take a record of all the troops and make that record available to the political authorities, who will inform the families of those soldiers. La Republic is not doing that. They were doing that from the beginning of the war because the casualties were few. And then they will come to Yaoundé with a few couples, put them in, and march with a band and all that. Since then, have you seen any such thing happen? No, because the killings have become so many, and they are forced now to bury in mass graves, and they don't keep any record. And they are now lying to the families who are asking questions. Families are now asking questions about their relatives. Look, they cannot do this to us, Ambazonians. They can only do it to Francophone because they are so subservient. I don't know what is wrong with them. They cannot react. If you find your son who has been in the army for more than a year and you have not heard from him, why don't you ask the people who took your son into war? You just sit there and say, mission Abamenda, mission Kuba, mission Victoria Linde. You are supposed to ask the authorities where your son is, what has happened. You have not heard from your son. You have not heard from anybody. But what do Francophones do? They just sit quiet. And that's what is happening. Now, La Republique has found a way to deceive them by telling them that these 256, I think that is the last casualties in the last 1 or 2 months have deserted. But that's not true. They have all been killed in the battle of in the line of fire on the battlefront.
Yes, absolutely. Now we know that those people, so-called soldiers, they have all been killed. But let's move to something else, Barrister Ghana. And I'm not sure you know this. I got this information a few days ago. I learned that in Ambazonia, precisely in Bamenda, people who lost property in the course of this conflict are being called up from the governor's office, the colonial governor's office in Bamenda, and are being given stipends. That's my terminology. Stipends as compensation for what they lost in the course of this struggle. However, I learned that Bamilikis are being compensated up to the tune of 3 million CFA. And the equivalent of that to Ambazonian traders is 50,000 francs. 50,000 francs. This information, I can assure you, is coming from a source from the colonial governor's office in Bamenda. Bamilikis are being given 3 million for their shops burned. Ambazonians are given 50,000 francs. Recently, we've been hearing of this so-called reconstruction and recovery. We have said that this is not the time for anybody whatsoever, to be showing up for some compensation of any nature. I'd like you as a legal mind to advise Ambazonians as a whole on ground zero. Is this the time for anybody to be taking a dime in the midst of war when homes are still being burnt down, people are still being killed, shops are still being destroyed? Is this the right moment? Barrister Ghana?
Absolutely not. Legally, we are still in a war zone. Bullets are flying, people are dying, properties are still being burned, villages are being razed to the ground, women are being raped, kids are being shot and butchered. We saw it in Kumba, how La Republique's troops or their gangs came and killed school children. No, nobody should be going up to receive compensation. And nobody should be pressured by these colonial forces to accept compensation either. And if anybody is pressured to accept compensation for loss of property or loss of life or loss of limb, that is null and void in law. That is something that is done under duress. When this war is over, an assessment will be made for people who have lost life and limb, for people who have lost property, because La République du Cameroon is the aggressor. La République du Cameroon and France is the principal, and La République is France's proxy. They will be held accountable for the deaths, for the losses, and the right amounts, the right estimates are going to be done, the right assessments are going to be done for properties that people have lost, for lives and limbs that people have lost. So you are absolutely right. Nobody should be offering themselves up to go take any compensation. And if anybody is pressured to take any compensation by the colonial forces of La République du Cameroon, they should know that that is either void or voidable, consistent with law, because it is done under duress. And all of what happens during a war zone that has to do with people reaching contracts to settle down claims that they have against the aggressive party is void. So the answer to that is nobody should be going up to go receive any compensation. The war is still going on. The international community has recommended dialogue and negotiation. It has not happened. It is going to happen. La République is going to meet the restoration forces and the Ambazonian coalition team on the negotiation table. This conflict is not going to be over until there is negotiation. The warfare that we are experiencing has been foreseeable, has been predictable, and La République made a mistake to let it happen without settling the Southern Cameroon's issue. Now that we have boys on the ground with guns and boots, we are going to prosecute this war till the end, and yes, it's going to end up on the negotiation table, and then and only then will we talk about or address the issue of compensation for lives lost and properties destroyed.
Thank you. I think this message is very, very important for Ground Zero. Ladies and gentlemen, I wanted our legal minds to say something here, because this war is hardly over. It hasn't even started. As I told you from the onset, the war draft is yet to get to Ground Zero. It will get there, and when it gets there, there will be mayhem. So if you go and collect money hoping that it is over, it is getting over, please listen to the sound of my voice. It is not getting over. It is going to get worse before it gets over. You go and get money, go and set up your shop, get 50,000. I mean, you get 50,000 francs. What can you do? Is it good for even a week's meal? Of course not. So please do not be in the temptation to go collect some chicken change from La République in the name of recovery or reconstruction. You will regret at the end of the day. Should they call you from anywhere to go collect money, do not, again, do not collect anything. Do not go for anything. Wait for the war to be over. When the war is over, international community will determine what every one of you out there who've lost property or business will be paid. Be patient. That moment will come. If you lost your home, you will be compensated. You lost your business, you will be compensated. But if you take chicken change from La République du Cameroon today, I bet you when the right moment comes, you'll be weeping, you'll be regretting. Now let's move to the last item on this broadcast, gentlemen. We have heard all along that this conflict is an internal conflict, an internal crisis. Yet, for 4 years, La République du Cameroon, so-called parliament, has not as much as called for a single hearing to find out what is happening in part of their country. Their Senate has not as much as held a single hearing to find out what is happening in part of their in part of their country as they want the world to believe. Is this an internal conflict? Let me start with the Oracle, please.
Yeah, thank you very much, Chris. But in the light of what you allowed the other people to speak, I want to call attention to something about this compensation stuff and the strategy that La Republic is using, which they are using in Donga Mountain. And I wish to let those who are involved, enablers and all who are involved, know that it's not like we are not watching and we are not observing and we are not knowing. We know that the order was given in Donga Mountain for the Bororos to act ultra-virus, to take the law into their hands and do as they please. And in the course of doing as they please, they have been confiscating cattle from non-Bororos. And these people in Yaoundé who are enablers, they are the ones that have these non-Bororos cattle in our area, because they are the ones that have the way we talk. As Barrister saw, Barrister Ghana will attest to me, is not any idiot that shows up and has a head of cattle. You must have the money to have a head of cattle. If you are a local person, if you are not a Boro, you need to have the money to be able to do that. So these are the people that have the money and have the cattle, but the Boros have been cutting that away, and they are all very quiet. There must be a reason why they are quiet, because nobody is going to lose a head of cattle and be quiet about it. There must be a reason. Maybe somebody is telling them, oh, don't worry about it. When it all comes to shove, we're going to, oh, we're already compensating you. Can you tell us how much your cattle was? They will compensate you. Or just make a record of that. When the time comes, we're going to compensate you. So don't make any noise about it. Because I'm saying we are observing that. We are observing that because we know who they are and we know whose cattle has been cutted away, and we know that they have not made even a hiss about it. And there must be a reason why somebody can lose so much and not make a hiss about it. And they are enablers, and we are taking note of them. And it is in the cause of the Bororos wanting to do that, they are slaughtering the local people in their way, innocent local people in their way to get to that cattle and cut away. So I just take this opportunity to tell my brothers who have made themselves enabler that, yeah, that agreement that you have with the Bororos to do as they are doing, we are taking note. Because you are not saying anything about your cattle that has been cut away. So there must be a reason why you are not saying anything. Okay, then coming down to the issue, whether this is an internal matter. Well, I don't know how anybody is going to claim is an internal matter. By how? If it's an internal matter, then the National Assembly has been there like forever. And Wilbur tried it. It was only through sheer force that he even dared to say anything. And then the president of the National Assembly kept telling him, please stop that your nonsense. Stop that your nonsense. Everybody was listening to it. Everybody was listening to him say that. That Wilbur was talking nonsense about an internal matter, a serious internal matter, life and death. And then he was calling it nonsense and asking Wilbur to stop. So they are the ones that call us Biafra. If they call us Biafra, they were simply telling Honorable Wilbur, don't bring Biafra stuff into La Republic. And so if we are Biafra and we are not La Republic, how will anybody be saying that this is an internal matter? It's not an internal matter. And everybody knows that La Republic walked away from us. I think it was in 1984 or something. They walked away from us. So if they walked away from us themselves, how does this become an internal matter? They went back then to being La Republique de Cameroon, and so left us to become Southern Cameroon, to which we have given our own name of Amazonia. So the issue of an internal matter is kind of legally, I don't know, the legal minds are here. I don't know how they're going to prove that one. Maybe it's up to them to be able to prove that if the other party walked away, why would that party turn around and say, hey, I'm still around, and it's an internal matter? So if it is an internal matter, then why are they leaving it up to the people of the Northwest and the Southwest? Yeah, the other day, surprisingly, the funds of the Western region came out with some their little whatever, maybe in compensation to all of the people from the West that during their own day of independence came and then we received them in open arms or something. I don't know. Maybe they went, they slept, they dreamt about it, and came out and said something. They said that thing, absent the man in Fullman, where the phone himself had his stopover from Yaoundé. Maybe there was something in that stopover that allowed the man in Fullman not to be party to that funds of the Western region doing their thing about the bloodshed that is taking place in the Northwest and the Southwest, Amazonia, as we will call it. So, to the best of my mind, I'm not a legal mind, but from my own common sense kind of stuff, I don't see me this internal matter thing because, hey, we were brought together seemingly in 1961, and then the people walked away from us. But then how again can they walk away and still be around to be in charge of us or with us as to consider this an internal matter? And if it is an internal matter, what was Biya's declaration of war? Was it kind of like declaration of war or some kind of civil war or something, or what? I thought he declared war on the party that he walked away from, and he's been prosecuting that war against the party that he walked away from. Then how is it now an internal matter? Well, the international community has their way, maybe teleguided by France, to be beating around the bush, and at some point they're going to come down to reality. But to common sense like me, I don't see me this internal matter thing.
All right. All right, we are running out of time. Barrister John, 1 minute on this subject. Give us your take on this, please.
Yeah, Chris, it is not an internal matter because it's a war between two states, the Southern Cameroon and La Republic of Cameroon. And the Oracle has said it all. But let me also add that even when America was in Vietnam, their Congress kept debating that war. La Republic of Cameroon is at war in the Southern Cameroon, Amazonia, and their parliament has never opened their mouth to ask even questions about the war.
Right.
But that should not concern us. We don't care. We don't care whether they ask questions or they don't ask in their parliament. It's not our business. The only thing we know is that this is an international conflict and it needs international solution. That is, we will be getting to the negotiating table with a foreign mediator and in a foreign country, just like all international conflicts are resolved. So anybody who thinks that this is an internal conflict, he has to go back to school, because every sane Southern Cameroonian, even those who are educated or uneducated, know that there are two countries that got together, and now La Republic is fighting the other countries. So this is an international conflict, and it will be settled in Geneva or anywhere else. But the only thing we'll have on the table now is the Swiss talk. That we have a Swiss mediator, and we are waiting for the two parties, the Republic of Cameroon and the Southern Cameroon and Amazonia, to meet on that table and resolve this international conflict. I hate when I hear they say la crise anglophone. There is nothing like crise anglophone. This is a conflict. This is a war between two nations. Let La Republic know that, and let them know that we don't care whether they discuss it in their parliament or not.
Thank you. Thank you. Barrister Ghana, please, 1 minute. And before you start, Barrister Ghana, I'd just like to let the audience know I will open the phone lines for about 5 calls, only about 5 calls. We've spent, we've gone a long way already, and we can only take a very few calls, very few calls, and I wish we can get all from ground zero to know the mood of the people on ground zero after the so-called elections and, of course, the lockdown. But as Ghana, please, 1 minute.
Comrade Chris, the African Constitutive Act 4B in the African Charter states that the boundaries for African countries is established at when they were during independence. During independence, La République's boundaries did not include the Southern Cameroons. The Southern Cameroons was an independent international entity and continues to be an independent international entity. South Africa tried to use that same argument on Namibia when South Africa tried to annex Namibia. And South Africa used to argue to the international community that it was an internal matter because Namibia was part of its territory. That was solved on the negotiation table. That was a conflict between two entities, Namibia and South Africa, just like this is a conflict between two international entities, Southern Cameroons, aka Ambazonia, and La République du Cameroon. That echo of it being an internal matter can be compared also to the situation in East Timor and Indonesia, where Indonesia claimed that East Timor was part of its territory. Just like the Southern Cameroons, just like Ambazonia, the international community eventually told Indonesia, no, East Timor is a separate international entity, and through negotiations and international schemes, East Timor got its independence. Same for Eritrea, same for the Azov Strip that Libya tried to annex, same for the Shawari Arab Democratic Republic that the Polisario Front fought for independence. Just like those entities, Ambazonia will meet La République du negotiation table, and La République will come to the reality of Ambazonia gaining its sovereignty and freeing its people from the ravages of annexation. But let me just say one thing, and I know time is short. The reason why France is doing everything possible to try to define this issue as an internal matter is because France knows that when this issue is resolved, France will lose control over the resources in Ambazonia. This is all an international scheme by France and willing exploiters to exploit the resources of Ambazonia, keep Ambazonia impoverished, and pretend as if Ambazonia is some sort of part of La République du Cameroon. Ambazonia is not, and the reality of Ambazonia being a separate international entity, a separate nation with its own sovereignty, enshrined in UN Resolution 1514 XV of 15th December 1960, enshrined in UN Resolution 1608 of April 21st, 1961. All of these international instruments go emphatically and absolutely to emphasize the fact that Ambazonia is a separate entity in international law.
Chris.
Crazy.
Oh, I'm sorry about that. Thank you for that, Barrister Ghana. I wish we could continue, but time is no longer on our side. We will take a few callers. If you guys have time, stay put in there. Let's see what Ground Zero has to say. Hello, sir. Let me get to the first caller. Hello.
Courage, brothers, do not stumble. Do not be no class fight. God send his stars to guide you. Trust in God and do the right. Some who loved and some who hated, some who forgot and some who smiled, but God be humble, trust in God, and do the.
We lost him. We lost him. Somebody kicked him out with, I think, with a different call. Let's see. Hello. 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 Hello.
Hello?
Hello.
Yes, good evening, Secretary Chris.
Good evening, sir. May I know where you are calling from, please?
Yes, I'm calling from the northern zone in Mancon. In Mancon.
Okay, and how was Ghost Town in Mancon today?
Yes, it was very, very perfect, more than ever.
Thank
we did
you.
not see anybody out, even mad people, we did not see on the street, sir.
Even mad people you didn't see on the street?
No, they were not in the street.
Okay, wonderful. What do you have in your mind?
Yes, I have many things in my mind. I would be very, very delighted if you can give me a little time.
1 minute,
to
1 minute,
elaborate.
so that we can have others, give others the opportunity too. 1 minute.
Okay, I will specifically talk about the elections.
Okay.
We should understand that La République de Cameroon is waning time. They have failed. They understand that they have lost momentum. They don't have anything to do. All what they are doing all those things thinking that we on ground zero, we are going to be tired and they pick back their momentum. It's a lie. If we look the manifesto of the president, we will understand that they know actually what we need. If at all they could propose what is there. Therefore, it would have been far better. So what they are talking of House of Chiefs, one in Bamenda, one in Kuma, is a kind of a scenario that one cannot believe. Now, also to go to the other fact of, I want to tell the two lawyers, Lawyer Ghana and Barrister Ghana and Barrister Fuso, that in war, I think there is a retaliation. I don't think if La République keep on invading our territory, killing our innocent people, armless people, and we know that the solution is that we should retaliate by also killing their own people. We will not stay until they kill all our people, and then we wait the Geneva Convention or the Geneva whatsoever thing they are calling. So I don't understand. So
you agree with me against the law, against the lawyers?
Pardon?
So you agree with me against the lawyers?
Yes, I agree with you completely, because I cannot stay every day. Just recent people were killed in my village. Nobody's talking about. America has killed in some other countries. The international community is not saying anything. Like in Afghanistan, the Kabul government, they themselves, they know that America caused terrible crimes in Afghanistan. Hello?
Yes, go on. I can hear you. Go on.
Yes, so when they begin to tell me that we should stay, and when they finish all our people in their millions before they take the few people, if 3 persons have to kill 1,000 people, should we wait for them to finish 1,000 people and then we wait for the Geneva, whatever thing they're telling me? No.
Well, all right, listen, thank you. I really appreciate the call. I would like others to have the opportunity to call too, but I will let the lawyers respond to you. I think your question is for them. Thank you for the call.
Yes, exactly.
Thank you.
Chris,
all right, please, Barrister Ghana, I saw you wanted to say something.
Let me let Barrister Ansor go first if he has something to say on that.
Yes, I want to tell the caller that we have not said that we should not be fighting. Keep fighting. Keep the firepower going. But all we are saying is that when you successfully capture either an enabler or an invader, the law, the Geneva Convention says you can no longer kill somebody in your custody. That is all we are saying. We have not said you should not fight, though. We are going to fight to the last man standing.
Okay, all right. Barrister Ghana, please.
Correct. I totally agree with what Barrister Ansor has said. Self-defense is a right enshrined in international law, and the presence of La République's troops on our territory, Ambazonia, calls us Ambazonians to self-defense. So every La République troop that is on our territory is a legitimate target. So as Barrister Ansor has said, we'll continue to fight, we'll continue to neutralize targets will continue to make La République pay a price for its troops being on our territory, raping our women, stealing our properties, looting our homes, burning our villages. So no, we'll fight to the maximum ability that we can. And I'm even going to go ahead and invoke what I call, or what the international community calls, the Bush Doctrine. If I think you're going to be attacking me tomorrow, I will attack you today. So if Amazonian forces think La République forces are going to be attacking them tomorrow, they should attack La République forces today. But as Barista said, once that target has been captured and the threat has receded or has been neutralized, you cannot kill that target.
Well, you messed it with that one. Let's get the next call. Hello.
Yeah, hello. Greetings, Secretary Chris.
Greetings, sir. Where are you calling from, please?
Yeah, I'm calling from the northern zone in Mancon, to be specific.
Okay, what do you have to contribute, sir?
Yeah, what I have to contribute is that the CPDM people are the enablers. They are the ones causing all the trouble. I believe if we take the CPDM out of the line, then this matter is going to go very well. Then I want to appreciate for the fact that you spoke about the war drafts. At least that part is going to shut up a lot of mouths that are going on around. That particular war draft gives some consoling in the system. At least we are believing that there's going to be boom, boom in the days ahead.
Thank you. You will get it. You guys will see it. I hear lots of people wondering, where is the draft money? Where is it going? Why is it taking so long? Ladies and gentlemen,
we have the money. They will get it. They will get.
Yes,
exactly.
So I believe. No, thank you very much. Yes, the show today has been very great, especially with the mention of the war draft. And these CPGM people, they should be taken out of the line because they are the real enablers. We should not joke with them.
As Barrister Ghana has said, any French Cameroon soldier in our territory and any enabler, non-enabler in our territory is a legitimate target, and you can trust that that draft will take care of that. Thank you for the call.
Thank you.
All right, let me get to the next caller here. Hello. Hello, can you turn down the volume of your TVs, please?
Yes, it's still on. Good evening, Secretary Chris.
Good evening, sir. May I know where you're calling from, please?
Yeah, from Bamenda, Northern Zone.
Okay, and I guess you people have light today.
Yeah, we have light in the morning up to midday, and then from 6 p.m. we've been having light.
All right. 50 seconds. What do you have in your mind?
Yeah, two contributions. Congratulations, by the way, for your show. Very powerful, very good. There is that clarification on the word out. So two points. I just want to keep up with the last speaker. Look, Secretary Chris, the enemy within must be exterminated. Those enablers, traitors, blacklegs, if you get rid of them, this thing is over. They are the ones in.
You don't make these lawyers sound happy when you say the enemies must be eliminated. They prefer to go to the law court.
The enemy, the enablers, the traitors, the blacklegs. We have been with them. That's why they can afford to convey them in America to go and vote. It should not be happening like that at this stage. They have so many here. They should be gotten rid of. The enablers, all of them. That's the first point.
Okay.
The second point. Yes, the second point. We must do everything so that nonsense called Shan should not hold in Victoria. It should not hold absolutely. Yeah. You see, although the elections have been a fiasco, just propaganda, but we are annoyed by the fact that some chiefs could even be conveyed to put into polling station to vote. What I'm saying is that, and I'm reflecting the opinion of Amazonians here, no possibility should be given to Shan to hold. There should be no possibility to Shan to hold, and that should begin from.
Okay, go ahead. You are referring to the African Cup, right? Is it African Cup actually?
Yes, African for local players. No opportunity should be given to that nonsense to hold. It begins now. No opportunity. Again, to conclude, enablers, if we get rid of enabler, what I call the internal enemy, that enemy will be neutralized at once.
All right, thank you. Thank you for the call, sir.
Thank you, bye.
All right, bye. Okay, let's get to this other caller here. Hello, sir.
Good evening, Secretary Chris.
Good evening, sir. How are you doing today?
I am fine, I'm good.
What is your contribution? 1 minute, quickly.
Yeah, this question of enablers. I think that a traitor is more dangerous than an enemy. You could dialogue with an enemy, but a traitor is very dangerous. I think that a traitor that has caused a lot of problems, that's been pointing people and have been killed for nothing. I don't see any reason apprehending him. You keep that law by the Alfonso is talking or even to people. I think the best thing is to allow him when he's moving, you blow him off as if you are blowing an enemy. Because a traitor is more dangerous. Enablers are very, very if these enablers were not, and it's the enablers on the both sides that have put La Republic into confusion and create us into problem, this thing would have long gone to the table.
You're right.
The enablers that are prolonging these things. The enablers are the most dangerous people. I think to me, if I were one of these guys, then as soon as I see an enabler, I hide myself and allow him to be moving free and I blow him off. That's just all. Than to apprehend him and that lawyer Alfonso will come and bring that a lawyer they will keep you for long judging case for years. No. Good evening.
All right. Thank you for the call, please. Barrister John, it appears you were trying to say so. You were saying something.
Yes, I was saying that he can do that in the line of fire. That is correct. But that he captures as a prisoner and then kill later, no.
Okay. Well, gentlemen, I think we have come to the end of this, at the least for today. But before you go, I want Ambazonians to see the state of the struggle as it is today. I mean today, December the 7th. Watch, ladies and gentlemen. This is exactly where the struggle is today. Watch. Now you see that fat man walking away from a young man, defeated. Look at this one now. See what is happening there. That is La République du Cameroon in that huge guy. And Ambazonia is there in that little guy there. that is Ambazonia lifted up, but not defeated. Let's see who wins. No way. No surrender. Let's see who wins. Come on, ladies and gentlemen. Ambazonia wins. Ambazonia wins the battle there. That is the state of the struggle. Ladies and gentlemen, we may look small, look petite, weary, fatigued, but you know what? We are fighting and we are going to win. It is not the size of our money. It is not the size of our military. It is not the size of our support. It is sheer determination, patience, hanging on as a young man hung on to that fat guy there. So that is the state of the struggle. Gentlemen, thank you for coming on. I look forward to having you again next time.
Thank you, Chris.
It's a pleasure. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you. God bless you all. Okay.
All right.
Thank you, fellow Ambazonians. That was it. But before I go, I just want to remind all of you, please get on the Internet Play Store and download ABC app. Download ABC app from Play Store so you can have ABC Mobile. You watch it anywhere that you go. And remember again to redeem your draft. This is the grace month. The grace month for you to redeem and finish paying your draft. I look forward to coming back here. I have a very special guest that I'm trying to bring to you, I believe, maybe Friday, but I still have to confirm that. But in the meantime, I want all of you on Ground Zero, remain strong, remain courageous, remain brave, and know that no matter how long it takes, we are going to get there. There will be days that look like we are losing. There will be days that look like La République du Cameroon has taken over. I can assure you, there will be days like that, but that won't mean the end of the struggle. We have planned for this struggle to go for as long as it can go until we pronounce victory. And until that happens, do not call anything a surrender, or do not say it is over when it is not over. These are the words I want to leave with you today. And again, I want all of you to remain very, very strong, out there. Remain very, very strong out there. God bless you all, and good night.